Welcome back to the Sharp Sports Report. Good Lord, that was a stumble
It's all good, man. It's
off the
Wednesday.
bat. Oh my gosh, that's two in like 30 seconds.
Listen, this warmer weather's got everybody acting different. It was 94 today, just got awful humid here. But hey, we had more basketball last night, though.
I was gonna say, if you don't know, 2 days ago it was 50. So,
and yes, for how hot it was, the Suns are even hotter right now after last night. But Kellen, the first matchup we have to dive into, 76ers got just demolished. 35-point loss in Miami. Scary moment. I don't know what quarter it was when it happened, but Phantom of the Process got hit in the face with the basketball. They thought it was actually Anthony who hit him in the face, but actually it looks like he hit the ball that then hit Joel right in the same orbital area that he had his fracture. He goes down. I have not heard anything. You are a 76ers fan. Is he now out for the future game, or is he pretty much questionable right now?
I believe he's good to go. He's all in on playing this next game tomorrow. It was scary at the moment, but the fact that he got back in the game and played and went on a little run shortly thereafter, I think he had 5 points on, or five straight field goals for the Sixers on the next five possessions, I believe. It might have been a little later where he went on that little run of his own. But it's scary. And I think the guy you're thinking of, Dwayne Dedman, is the one who hit the ball that hit Joel in the face.
That's okay, because I know there was. I think I'm
the guy.
For some reason, I'm thinking of like Anthony Tolliver. I don't know why, but yes, Dwayne Dedman. That's the guy.
Well, they're both tall, bald men, so I guess I could see that. But he got back in, and he seemed to be fine. Once again, the injury that seems to be most concerning is the thumb injury. It's affected the way he's been shooting the ball. He's been shooting his threes just incredibly inaccurately this series. And I don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to have to talk about it because this happens every year. For some reason, there just seems to be a lack of effort. There seems to be a lack of or a sense of urgency. It's something like this game. They're like, okay, we're already down. We're not playing our best. Let's just fold, and let's get back to Philadelphia Game 6 and win that. Which, if you want to get past this round and the next round and then win the finals, you cannot have that mentality. That's a mentality we've had for years. It's a mentality that pushed Ben Simmons out of Philadelphia, pushed Carson Wentz out of Philadelphia, and looks like it's going to push Jalen Reagor out of Philadelphia soon. So it's just, as a Philly fan, I can attest for all Philly fans, we know we're not going to win every year. We know we don't have the best team. Right now, we know we don't have the best team in the NBA. But we want to see you try. Like, if you suck, that's fine. At least put in the effort. Act like you're going 110%. That's why we love TJ McConnell, Brandon. That's why I love TJ McConnell. He wasn't the best guy out there, but he was giving you everything he had, and I know he's doing that for your Pacers. When he's out there, he's going all in every single play. And I can remember in our Celtics series when we lost 4-1, he had a 19-point game where he got a putback layup over Aaron Baines, I believe it was. So it's just there's a lack of effort, lack of urgency that people thought was going to be gone when we traded Ben Simmons, but it is still there. And you got to look at Doc Rivers a little bit because this has been a constant thing since he's been coach. It was not as constant when Brett Brown was there, but it's definitely reared its ugly head more under the Rivers era. We saw last year against Atlanta, and we're seeing it this year now. It's just not. It's not good, and it's very frightening because where do we go from here if we can't develop this sense of urgency and passion for the game?
No, I completely understand, and like I'm not a Philly fan, but I am a fan of Joel Embiid. I mean, you don't see a big man like that at all. I mean, who can just pretty much play like a guard, defend like a guard, but still play as a big, stretch the floor, go beyond the 3-point line. Just a dominant player. But it's like I said on Monday, James Harden, it was a fluke on that game. He goes 5 of 13, 2 of 6 from deep, only 14 points. I think a scarier stat that I'm looking at right now is 4 of the starting 5 were negative 25 or higher in the plus minus, which is horrible. I mean, that's awful. And you even said it, and I believe I agreed with you. This was going to be a defensive matchup for both teams. Like, they're both very good defensively. Just not expecting Miami to put up 120, let alone keep Philadelphia below 90 points for that matter. The first and the fourth quarter, Philadelphia only had 19 points. Miami just completely dominated the entire game. And it sucks because I'd love to see talent like Joel Embiid. Tobias Harris, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Tobias Harris, but I remember in previous years with the 76ers, he was dominant. He was like your second go-to scorer, and that mid-range game was unstoppable. No one could do it at all. But when the game matters the most, it seems like Philly just is not there. And I don't even put the blame on Joel Embiid. I put it on everyone else. I don't know what is going on, whether it's a coaching issue or if it's just a chemistry issue in the playoffs or not having enough playoff talent or experience. But most of these guys have been in the playoffs. I would love to see Joel get at least 2 in NBA Finals matchup. I'd love to see him win a ring, but for that player, you want to see him in the biggest game on the biggest stage, and you're just not going to. Again, Miami wins the next game and Philly's out.
Yeah, and then say Philly wins Philadelphia, which is entirely a possibility. They could come back and be pissed and came out with energy. Then they got to go back to Miami, and Miami's dominated at home this entire series. It's you mentioned Tobias, and the thing is, he'll play quarters 1 through 3. He'll score well. He'll play some very solid defense. Now, he played great defense against Jimmy Butler. It's just Jimmy Butler was hitting insane shots, and that's just a testimony to Jimmy Butler's great offensive ability. That's frankly moderately underrated when people evaluate some of the best scorers in the NBA. Um, so it's just yeah, it's tough to see him crumble every fourth quarter in the playoffs. At least it feels like he crumbles every fourth quarter in the playoffs. Um, but I want to point out this just because Hakeem is a player that's frequently compared to Joel Embiid. Hakeem didn't make a finals until 1994. That was his 10th year in the NBA, and then he won back to back. And I'm not saying Joel Embiid will win back to back. Will win one, but I feel like he still has time because his just intangibles are good enough to carry him through the long run. He's dealing with some injuries that Hakeem didn't deal with until way later in his career. Joel's dealing with those now. But I think Joel has time. Um, I think I think if we can get another year under James Harden's belt, just to get that chemistry up, and then you gotta see what might be out there for Tobias. I'm not saying you have to trade him, but you have to consider options because he's not doing it in the fourth quarter when you absolutely need him most. You have young talent in Tyrese, um, but you're starting to fail on development of Matisse, as he's been a no-show this entire playoffs. He hasn't played really playoffs because really didn't play in the Toronto series. And in the Miami series, he's played terrible defense and has shot horribly. Um, it's just it's
It will
bad.
be interesting. It will be interesting to see what Philadelphia does this offseason because I believe this free agent market is pretty good this offseason, which will be interesting to see what they do in regards to trades. I don't know what their projected pick is right now. And by the way, the lottery is next Tuesday, I believe. So we'll find out all 28 picks, I guess, for both rounds. I think if Philly can find themselves early in the 20s, I don't think it will happen, but if they can find themselves at like a 22, possibly a 20, that's still a pick where you could have someone that you're not having to wait a full year, excuse me, for them to sit on the bench. That's someone that you can plug and play right now, like what they are doing with Matisse Thybulle. Because once they brought him in, he was a role bench player right away for that organization. Except his offensive skill set is just not there. His defensive skill set is like phenomenal. He's one of the top young defenders in the league when he's on, but his offensive side needs massive improvement. Because if they could get Matisse Thybulle scoring, let's say 15 to 20 points a game consistently, then this team is set to make a deep run in the playoffs. If I were the GM, I would dump Green and Harris in a combined to try to bring in someone younger, but for the same position of a stretch 4, stretch 3 position. Because of what I was going to say, before the extension happened, Robert Covington was going to be a free agent, and that's your perfect 3-and-D type player that I feel like would fit really well with Philadelphia because he's kind of like your Jay Crowder situation.
The man played in Philadelphia for forever.
I know, but what I'm saying is bring him back just because he is that 3-and-D type of player. He's just like a Jay Crowder. It'll be interesting. All in all, Miami blows them out. Back to Philly with Miami up 3. Are you giving Philadelphia a chance in Philadelphia, or are you going to say Miami wins this series tomorrow night?
I will always give Philadelphia a chance in Philadelphia because for the past 4 years, the Sixers have been stupid at home. There was that one year where they lost one regular season game at home. They were 29-1. So I'll always give them a chance, even if the prior game was terrible. And Brandon, what if the Sixers went incredibly small ball? You trade Tobias Harris and Danny Green to the Utah Jazz for Donovan Mitchell.
I don't think Mitchell would leave Utah. I think more than anything, it would be Gobert that leaves Utah.
No, I would. I'm thinking.
But there is a young player, 2 young players that are rumored to be on the move this offseason, which I think Philadelphia should make a move at.
Who?
It's John Collins and Kevin Huerter of Atlanta.
I don't want either.
Kevin Huerter is a good 3-point shooter. John Collins, great rebounder, super athletic. You don't need him to put up to 20 plus, but he's a great defender as well.
No, but I feel like he's more of a post presence. We need more of the stretching. As I'm saying, and the NBA is going to small ball. If you have three small guards, and then you have a 7'2" powerhouse of a center and Joel, that's insane. And I think Utah, they're going to be put into an incredible predicament this offseason because Rudy Gobert is pretty much come out and said it's either me or Donovan Mitchell. Well, they're going to want to keep Donovan Mitchell, but they're also going to shop Rudy Gobert around, who's getting paid a max contract. And they're not going to find much for him. They're not going to find anything for him, in my opinion. And I think they're going to end up having to part ways with Donovan because Donovan's going to be pissed that Rudy Gobert's still there.
It's all right. Philadelphia is going to trade Tobias Harris and Danny Green for Russell Westbrook, and you guys will have Russell Westbrook.
No.
Well, listen,
second worst contract in the NBA right now.
Like agreeable by 1,000%. I completely agree, which is insane because he's got the record for averaging a triple-double or the most triple-doubles in a season. I mean, I don't know what the heck happened. Different story, different episode. We'll definitely talk about that in the NBA offseason once all that stuff comes about. Before we move on to Dallas and Phoenix, just want to let everybody know this podcast is brought to you by Anchor, the best way to podcast. If you ever thought about starting a podcast, Anchor is the easiest way to go about it. They give you all the tools right you need from the app, from your computer. You can record at any time, add music, cut, add clips. They now offer video recording features as well, which we were one of the first podcasts to try it out. So yeah, give Anchor a go. It's fantastic. But moving on, I called it. You called Dallas winning. Alec and I both called Phoenix winning, and they did not disappoint at all. And I think I said it best, and Alec kind of agreed with me as well. I think you agreed too when I said Dallas is pretty much the Dallas Lukas at this point. There is really no other guy on that team who can play. It's just they're running the offense through Luka, and they try to do that again. He puts up 28 and 11. But I love the way Devin Booker got in his face, got him all psychologically messed up, took the ball from him, got him upset. Phoenix Suns roll last night, 110-80, holding them to 14 points in the third quarter. By the way,
which is bonkers. I'm mad that I picked Dallas. I mean, I knew Phoenix was gonna win, but I was given hey, Luka was gonna roll on for one more game and then they'll collapse. And like you said, we made this year's Dallas team compared to a lot of Dirk Nowitzki's Dallas's teams, except Dirk was able to carry his Dallas teams a little further than Luka has so far. We made the comparison that at least Dirk had Jason Terry. Luka doesn't have a Jason Terry, and it's not hard to get a Jason Terry. It really isn't. They just don't have it yet. So you're sitting there wondering, what the hell are you doing, Dallas? They've tried and they failed to get second pieces. Um, I mean, it's the front office isn't that great there. I would say they have one incredibly lucky ring. Um, Now moving on to Phoenix. That's a front office that's done an absolutely exceptional job at building the best team in the NBA, with a combination of probably the best scoring in the league, with the best playmaking in the league, with the best leadership in the league, with the best hustle defense in the league. When you have Jay Crowder, who just goes around just muscling everyone out when he really shouldn't be able to. DeAndre Ayton is a defensive paint god, and Mikal Bridges is the guy who probably should have won the Defensive Player of the Year. Um, that team is set to win. They couldn't get it last year because they have to go against the athletic freak that is Giannis. I think they could do it this year, though. I think they might be able to. It's going to be a tough matchup next series against the Warriors because we know the Grizzlies ain't going to win that one. Um, so everything's working out to get fun conference finals, though. No matter what happens, I think we're going to have a great conference finals.
Absolutely. And speaking of the reason why you just said the Warriors will probably win the series tonight, John Morant was listed as completely out of the playoffs due to a bone bruise on the right knee, the knee that Jordan Poole decided to mess with. We will not talk more about that, but pretty much that sums it up. But you know what? Even without John Morant the other night, Memphis was winning that entire game. Like they had played really well without John Morant, kept it close, and they were up by 10 at one point. And then it's just one of those things where when Clay and Steph start making shots, you really just cannot stop it. And that's what happened the other night. But last night, I know I said something stupid on Monday in regards to Jay Crowder being possibly one of the X Factor guys. He only had 3 points, shot 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 5 from deep. But I have noticed that in the games that Phoenix wins, the guy who has a great game in those games coming off the bench is Cam Johnson. I mean, I think when he was on draft night, he was projected a second round pick. He got drafted into the lottery, and that was a steal for the Phoenix. I mean, it was unbelievable. Puts up 14 points, only misses 3 shots. Yes, he was 1 of 4 from deep, but he's just as good defensively as Mikal Bridges. He's not better than Mikal. Mikal also puts up 14 points, 4 steals, 7 rebounds. I don't know why he didn't win Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, it's just absurd. He's been playing like that all year long. I also love the fact that they have shooters off the bench like a Landry Shamet and Cam Johnson. Landry Shamet can at least get you that 9-12 points just from 3-point shooting. But Devin Booker's ridiculous, man. And it's funny. Every time he gets the ball, you can always tell he's either going to drive and then had that little fadeaway mid-range jumper, or he's just going to pump fake that and go right into the lane. He's been fantastic. And it is surprising. Once again, Chris Paul is under 10 points. Was not expecting him to have under 10 points, but he has 10 assists. He finished with 10 assists, 7 points, 2 rebounds, 4 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. Jay Crowder did foul out last night.
As expected.
Game tomorrow in Dallas. There's a lot this Dallas team needs to do in regards to building around Luka right now. But I'm not going to put any of the blame on Jason Kidd, because when he first came to Dallas, he was first coaching job, but he's grown tremendously ever since he's got that coaching job. I think he's doing pretty well since he's got the coaching job. But I will say Phoenix wins tomorrow night. So Alex, Buddy, and Phoenix, for the times we don't talk about Phoenix, they're winning the series and more likely facing the Warriors starting this weekend.
Is this kid's first coaching job?
I think it's like
Just third.
I know, but that's what I mean, though. Like, since he started coaching, he wasn't that great of a coach.
That's
But it
true.
seems like he's found his niche here in Dallas, and this is his second year in Dallas.
That's wild to think. I mean, he coached the Nets. That was not a good time. Coached the Bucks. That was even worse. And here he is in Dallas, finally figuring out. I mean, Dallas is the team he used to play for. He knows the ownership well, so it's a pretty solid match. And I think give him a little more time. They have solid pieces. They do, but some of the guys who are starting would be better solid backups. Like Tim Hardaway Jr. Great.
He's hurt right now. It sucks that he's hurt.
It does suck, but when he's healthy, he's really good. But he's more suited for that off the bench role. Like
I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas makes a run at Rudy Gobert. They need a big man down there.
They absolutely do. They absolutely, because you can't live with a Maxi Kleba there forever. I mean,
or Dwight Powell.
You got Boban.
But Boban's not playing. I mean, Maxi Kleba's giving you 24 minutes.
And that's why they're losing this series, is because Boban's not playing.
I mean, you had Davis Bertans, who was shooting lights out in the first quarter for a little bit, or first half, but at the same time, he only plays 19 minutes. He's only giving you 10 points. Dwight Powell only played 8 minutes, gave you nothing. Kleba played 24 minutes, only gave you 4 points. There's no big men.
The thing is, it's not like, and Rudy Bear's not going to give you those points. He's just going to prevent teams from getting points. And I think having Bertans is fantastic. He issued 19 points. 19 minutes, 10 points. The ratio there is not spectacular, but he opens the court. He spreads everything out a little bit. If you give him the ball, they're like, "Oh crap, this 6'11" dude can shoot." So it's the element of like he might make it. That's really all they need from Davis. But yeah, that center position has been a bad one for a few years. Even when they had Kristaps, that was not exceptional.
But all in all, those games were last night. Pretty much now until our next episode on Monday, we actually have Milwaukee and Boston right now. Series is tied 2-2. We are in TD Ameritrade or TD Garden, whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's called now. The Garden.
The Garden. Just say the Garden. Just say the Garden. Just say the Garden, because everyone knows what the Garden is.
Yeah, but is it Madison Square Garden or is it TD Ameritrade Arena? I'm pretty sure it's TD Ameritrade Arena.
Just say the Boston. If you say the Boston Garden, then you know what he's talking about.
There we go. Boston Garden.
The Boston Garden.
Boston is up by 6 with just under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Alec, I believe you and Alec called the game the other night that Boston would win in Milwaukee. I did pick Milwaukee.
Mr. Giannis with a 40-point triple-double. Got shut up by Al Horford, but he got, I don't say almost.
Yeah, Al Horford, by the way, career high when he's like 35 years old. Good for him, by the way.
Yeah.
I think this game will come down to the wire in the fourth quarter. It always plays out like this in the past recent games in this series. Then later tonight, 9:30 Eastern on TNT, Golden State in Memphis. I would not be shocked at all. It's in Memphis, and with John Morant's news that he's not playing anymore in the playoffs, would not be surprised if Memphis wins at least this one tonight, at least forces a game 6. Golden State wins it in Golden State. That's what I'm assuming will happen. I think Memphis wins tonight. I think Desmond Bane has a great game. Jaren Jackson goes for 30 plus. I think just the Memphis crowd, I'm telling you what, this Memphis team has got that whole city on their back. And I think tonight they will give them that added boost to win tonight. So Memphis wins for me tonight.
And you look at the Grizzlies and the games they've played without Ja, and their record is exceptional without Ja. So I wouldn't be surprised if they also pull off this game. I'm not going to say they will. I think the Warriors they're too hot right now. They're too good in general. It's being in Memphis is one of the toughest places, a very underrated stadium to play in. But I think their composure is going to be insane. Steph and Clay and Draymond, this is the moment they're built for. They've played through many of these moments. I think the Warriors will hold on. It'll be a close one, but I do think they'll pull out with like 2 minutes left. They'll just go on their streak of threes that they hit. It's what they do.
Also wanted to point out, Alec is not with us tonight. A close friend of his family member passed away, so our condolences to that family. Also, we did not mention this. Also, condolences to Adrian Payne and his family as he was shot and killed. Actually trying to prevent a dispute. I believe it was in Florida that this happened. I would put him up there as one of the most well-known Michigan State players in recent history, with Draymond Green and everything like that. Great dude. He did a lot for the community in East Lansing, and I know he was drafted by the Timberwolves, got a lot of playing time, actually. Then he just kind of tapered off. So sad to see someone like that. He was 31 years old. get shot down. So our condolences to Adrian Payne and his family.
Sad.
And
very talented player, great in college. And it's, you look at certain players and you look at their careers and you wonder what would have been like if he would have been drafted by a franchise better than Minnesota that was more sound. I guarantee he would have had a way more notable career than the one he ended up with because he's just an all around great, talented basketball player.
I just remember when he was with Michigan State. I mean, he was literally like a Draymond Green. He was a tenacious rebounder. He could actually stretch the floor. Very good, very physical player. Sad to see him go. I wish he had at least another stint in the NBA. I think he deserved it with how his play was. But the NBA has gone completely different ways ever since he's been in the league. So much has changed. Also, if you have not subscribed or followed, hit that bell icon as well on YouTube. Follow this link that will be showing up at the end of the video today to follow and subscribe to our channel, as well as follow us on Instagram and Twitter, The Sharp Sports Report. We have new content dropping in. Been making some reels, some highlights, the jaw dropper highlight that was made by yours truly and the squad ourselves. And also Tony Kemp, I mean, was flying in midair when he caught that ball. I mean, unbelievable. He was in shock. Sports Center top 10 play, absolutely. But yes, if you have not, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon on the right side. Stay tuned. We'll be having episodes drop on Monday and Wednesdays, typically around 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Is that what we're going for?
That's about the average.
Sounds good. We're closing in on 100 days of college football, Kellen.
I know
you're getting excited.
I'm pretty excited.
Probably not excited about Penn State
I know
this year, but
it's hard to tell. But right there's a little Penn State wooden statue I have. Oh, wait, Brandon. Remember this guy that you got me?
Yeah, don't you have the floating helmet as well?
It's somewhere over here. It's hard to tell.
I mean, it's under your TV over there. It's not working, or it's not on right now.
It's not on right now.
But no,
I am excited because this team could be talented. We have some great 5-star players we brought in. Just whether or not James Franklin actually, develops them.
Cannot wait until we can start diving into some more college football, because that always seems to just fire people up when college football season starts.
I would say we get the most angriest arguments out of college football.
Also, stay tuned to our Twitter and Instagram. I'll be putting up some polls for you guys to answer and follow along with. We want to get more people on here for interviews, just kind of surprise guests as well. So if you want to be part of the podcast for a day, hang out with us, leave comments below on the video, or shoot us a message on Twitter or Instagram and let us know what topics you'd like to talk about or what you'd like to hear from us. Other than that, from Alec to you guys, go Hawks. From myself to you guys, go Steelers. Go Kenny Pickett. Everyone have a safe evening, and let's hope the Grizzlies can win tonight.
I'm going to say, go Sixers. Please play with at least some kind of energy and some kind of drive, because I don't know what the flippin' flop happened to you guys the other night. And 2, I almost want to talk real quick about a sport that we have only talked about maybe twice, very briefly, on this podcast, and that's hockey. That's the NHL. NHL playoffs are going on right now. We haven't really talked about them at all, brought them up at all. Considering that, they're very solid playoffs. Right now, the Penguins lead their series over the Rangers 3-1. They're currently playing into the second period. I think the Rangers scored 3 goals in 4 minutes to tie the game at 3-3. Capitals are currently leading their game against the Panthers 2-0. That series is tied 2-2. The Dallas Stars and the Calgary Flames are currently tied 2-2, and they'll play at 9:30 tonight. And then you have the Hurricanes and Bruins. Hurricanes lead that series 3-2. Maple Leafs and Lightning. Toronto leads that series 3-2, which is pretty wild because Toronto hasn't won a first-round series since the 90s. And Tampa Bay is the 2-time reigning champion. The Wild are currently down 3-2 against the St. Louis Blues, and the LA Kings lead the Edmonton Oilers 3-2. Those games all are going to be tomorrow, Thursday, May 12th. If you don't like hockey, that's understandable, but playoff hockey is a little different. Playoff hockey is pretty wild.
And also, if you do want to go to a hockey game, I mean, tickets might be hard to come by right now, but let's say next year, let's say you want to go to a college football game or any sporting event that is near you, check out our guys over at Gameday Guide. That is Gameday_Guide on Instagram. They pretty much provide a service where they will set up your whole sporting trip event with Uber rides, lodging, game tickets, all that stuff. Top-notch quality. I will leave the link in the bio for this video. Go check them out. Once again, that is Gameday_guide on Instagram. I believe they have a website. Like I said, I'll try to find that, but I'll definitely put their Instagram link down below so you guys can go check them out. Other than that, Kellen, I've got nothing else. The weather's been nice this week. I'm excited. It makes me happy. Hockey's going on. Basketball's going on. Celtics up by 8 now, closing in on 2 minutes, and more basketball tonight. You enjoy your evening, kind sir. And for everyone else, I'm signing off.
Brandon signing off. Senior skip day. Friday. About to hit the beach. Do nothing for just the entire day. And I'm very excited about that because I mean, all I got to do tomorrow is play the piano for an hour and a half, create digital things for an hour and a half, and listen to a teacher ramble about Catholic things for an hour and a half. I'm loving life a little bit right now. Hopefully the Sixers pull it out. Hope you all have a great day. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope you all enjoyed the past 25 videos and enjoy the next 25 videos. And let us know what you want to hear because we're all about that because eventually we will not know what to talk about. There's going to be a lull in sports and we're not going to know. Hell, if you want to talk about movies or something, I don't care. We'll do it. But thank you. And we'll see you next time.